The atmosphere is ramping up. Not a spare ticket to get into Toma this afternoon. A mouth-watering game in store with a place in the last four awaiting the winner of Munster or Ulster. Both former champions, of course. Our match commentary comes from Stuart Barnes and Miles Harrison.
So just the two previous meetings between Irish teams in the Heineken Cup. Those unforgettable semi-finals between Leinster and Munster in 2006 and 2009. And 3 years on, Munster and Ulster meet here at the quarter-final stage with the prize, a home country semi-final in Dublin again. Two South African props will shore up the Munster scrum, Vian du Preez and the former Ulster man BJ Botha. Michael Sherry gets the vote at hooker over Damien Varley. It will be Sherry's first Heineken Cup start. Far from a first start for locks Donica Ryan and Paul O'Connell, but both back from injury for today's big clash. O'Connell the captain, of course. The back row, an interesting blend. Peter O'Mahony, now a full international, is on the blind side. Today it's another first Heineken Cup start, this time for Tommy O'Donnell at 7 and James Corlin is 8, and if ever a department showed the new look Munster these days, it's this one. Conor Murray is like O'Connell and Ryan, back from injury, and he's alongside the old look Munster, Ronan O'Gara. Nafemi Mafi and Keith Earls the centres. Earls went off last week against Leinster, but he's okay. The wingers Simon Zebo and Dennis Hurley with Felix Jones at fullback. Jones missed the early rounds through injury, but back now. For Ulster, a week of preparation dominated externally at least by the talk of Stephen Ferris. Will he or won't he be fit to play in the quarter-final this year, having missed out last year in Milton Keynes? Well, he does start in a pack that has Tom Court at 1 and New Zealander John Arfoa, the BJ Botha replacement, if you like, at tight head. Rory Best, Ireland's captain at the end of the Six Nations, is hooker. Johan Muller, Ulster's captain today, and Dan Toohey form the second row. Stephen Ferris will his ankle hold up. He's as important to Ulster as O'Connell is to Munster. Chris Henry is at 7, and South African Pedri Vonenberg wears 8. Another South African, Ruan Pienaar, is the scrum half. Ian Humphreys fly half. He's won here in Europe before, in Leicester colours, 5 years ago. Paddy Wallace and Darren Cave, the centres. Cave fully fit again. Young Craig Gilroy and Ireland's Andrew Trimble are the wingers, with another South African, Stefan Terblanche, making up the 15, wearing 15, the fullback. And the two sets of replacements, some big Munster names here as well. In Horan, O'Callaghan and David Wallace, just returning from the knee injury that took away his World Cup and more. And for Ulster, watch out for the live wire introduction of little Paul Marshall. He's made a difference in this competition this season before.
Well, 90 minutes or so from now, Munster will either be red-hot favourites to reach yet another Heineken Cup final, or they will be relegated to the rank of third in the Irish provincial pecking order. Superb in so many aspects against Northampton in round 6, but they were shoved around in the scrum. Are they the real thing, or are they papering over cracks? Ulster, with a core of South Africans for whom Thomond Park will hold no fear, have the strength and self-belief to answer the Munster question, one way or the other.
Wave there from Ian Humphreys to the crowd, and plenty in support. Down from Ulster, Stephen Ferris. There weren't enough wild horses in Ireland to stop this man playing in this one today.
But behind them all, what a vital role Stefan Terblanche has to play today. The 36-year-old fullback plays his positional game close to perfection.
Well, Munster's answer this season to be unbeaten in the pool stages, finding ways at the death to be the survivor. And as the group went on to look more and more like the genuine contender, it's another season for Munster to believe in their ability to go all the way. Paul O'Connell, Munster's follow him anywhere character like Ferris for Ulster.
Behind O'Connell, Munster's running game revolves greatly around the physical presence of young Conor O'Murray. His ability to hold fringe defenders enables the midfield to operate in a metre more space. Like Sexton, he struggled at times for Ireland, but he has been exceptional for Munster.
Just time to breathe in the atmosphere, and of course, it's very special indeed.
There or there, where the draw is. Which side do I go?
Our referee for this All-Ireland Heineken Cup quarter-final is from France, Romain Poit, the man who took charge of last year's final. It's 4 years since Munster were in the final, 13 years since Ulster were there. At the end of today, one of these two will be one step away from that final again. Ireland comes to a halt for Munster versus Ulster. It was Pienaar with the kick-off and Corlin with the catch.
Push!
Good hit there.
Stay.
Ulster throwing Vandenberg and others forward to make these initial tackles to set the standard.
Push back. On the line, White! On the line!
O'Connell calms it down. Another one of the returning injured Conor Murray puts up the first high ball, and it's Trimble who is hit by Earls. That's the halfway line. Pienaar. Humphries thought about the long pass. So to Vandenberg. Maybe he was more concerned about it, considering the space was starting to disappear. Vandenberg who will leave Ulster at the end of this season. Getting Trimble involved. He scored a try in last year's quarter-final at Milton Keynes against Northampton, which ended Ulster hopes that time. Humphries again, and there's Wallace. Danny Wallace has been playing really well lately. Pienaar again, short to Vandenberg. He's lost control of that ball. It was seen by Donica Ryan, but not by the referee.
Stay White!
Humphries kicking with the corner. He's put far too much on that, and the spiral will just take it away. Maybe justice done, because there seemed to be a knock-on anyway.
A tale of a couple of kicks in the first couple of minutes. Conor Murray, we've talked about his running game. Pienaar is the man who's got magic with his box kicking, but this is an outstanding start from Conor Murray. It's a great chase there on Trimble. Trimble's got nowhere to go as Keith Earls hits him, so it's a good start there from the Munster scrum half. Conversely, it's a horrible start for Ian Humphries. Humphries came here when Leicester won, and he was perceived as a weakness. He played a beautiful game from the very first minute when he made a break from the kick-off. His first touch, this time kicking, is a horribly overhit ball, very nervous off the left foot.
Confirmation of that victory here in Leicester Tiger colours. 2007, one of only 2 defeats on this ground in European competition for Munster. Harlequins, the other victors in the Amling Cup last season, and Munster had failed to qualify for the knockout stages of this competition. Of course, Humphries' brother David, important figure off the field now for Ulster Rugby, very important figure on the field in that final all those years ago. Murray to put into this scrum. And an early drive there from Ulster has cost them possession, but not for long, because a mistake as Corlin tried to go away. O'Connell doesn't like it.
Left the ball behind.
And in comes Chris Henry as well.
No worries, calm down, on your side.
Well, it would only have been a surprise if that hadn't happened.
No, you have to take it.
Was it knocked on? Munster didn't think so.
Because he has to have his ball in his hands and kicked it. That was Romain Poit's interpretation. I think more important than that, as we see a little bit of shove, is the scrum. Ulster quite clearly tried to get the big hit on early. It is an area of the game where they feel they have an advantage. They saw what Northampton did to Munster in round 6. They will try and impose themselves, with the Foa on the tight especially.
Romain Poit says, Ulster, you can have your penalty now. And that impact that you were talking about from the Ulster pack with Cork, Best, Afoa. Afoa's made such a contribution, same way that BJ Bota did last season, and Humphreys, who kicked long to concede the position on the field, is now handing over to Pienaar to kick long for the post from just inside his own half for the 3 points.
Romain Poit, regarded as one of the best interpreters of a scrum. French referees live with the passion of the set piece. Paul O'Connell, I'm not so sure. Almost a Gallic shrug there from O'Connell. Now Pienaar, who's been signed for kicks like this, as the rain really starts to come down quite hard.
Yes, it's no longer a drizzle, not spitting in the wind. And the clouds closing in, it's getting darker and darker. Pienaar, World Cup winner with South Africa, and he wants to be a Heineken Cup winner with Ulster. And if he kicks like that, he might be.
Oh, well, Munster cannot afford to give penalties away, and frankly, that one has another 10-15 metres on it. He smashed that ball. 2 steps, no force on that at all. That is pure time in there. Wonderful strike. In the land of O'Gara, Pienaar for the moment is king.
Bit hard to gauge the wind. It's been swirling around out there, but the general feeling has been of late that it is right to left, and maybe Pienaar was a bit wind assisted, but he strikes such a good ball. And as Stuart says, that had plenty more on it, wind or not. There's Ronan O'Gara for Munster, trailing early on. Lefemi Mafi is on his way to Perpignan. He's been a true Munster great. Murray, back from that knee injury. Alone in that in Paris, suffering a knee injury. Paul O'Connell back as well. There is O'Connell, working very hard indeed. Sherry too. Gets this chance. Damien Varley not been at the top of his game in the run-up to this match. Fascinating to see how Sherry goes. That's O'Gara to Maffey again. Tackle from Rory Best. You know how he's been going for some time now. And the world's best hookers. Picked up by Amani, and then it's Corlin. Scored that try here against the Scarlets. Important score it turned out to be as well. Romain Poit is not endearing himself to the home crowd.
Get on feet, get on feet.
Romain Poit is a very strong referee. The ball went down and he said, you're straight off your feet.
Loud.
Conor Murray, very brave as the ball goes out. Whoa, there's the boot there from Paddy Wallace. And O'Connell's off his feet, and he's quite right. Accurate refereeing from Romain Poit. See this again.
If ever a picture showed the desire, it's there. It's confirmation of the strength of the wind. And Humphreys knows all about that now, the way his kick went on and on.
Well, his first one went on and on, but his second one from his 22 went up in the air and came down about 30 metres short of anywhere he wanted it. It has been quite clearly a nervous start from the Ulster fullback. In contrast, it has been a flawless start from Ruan Pienaar. But they've just got to get their fly half kicking with more accuracy. You can see here, this is not his intention. That slices off the left boot, doesn't it? That is not the sort of kick you want to be feeding Munster with.
Other kicking options in the back line, and Humphries will know that if he's under pressure. He can look to Paddy Wallace. Stefan Terblanche has a marvellous boot as well, as does Pienaar, of course. We've seen that already. And he feeds quickly into midfield, and Ferris gets involved. John Arthoa, 36 caps for New Zealand. There's the man to arrive at Ulster next year as the coach. Mark Askin very well. Take over from Brian McLaughlin, who once again has led Ulster to a Heineken Cup quarter-final, looking to go one better than last year. Here's Dennis Hurley.
Terrible kick from Humphries, awful kick again.
Murray, referee gets out of the way. O'Connell. O'Gara. And here's Terblanche. As you were saying, his positioning normally absolutely superb. 36 years of age now. It's a controversial signing, given the age, but he soon won over the Ulster fans, especially with that try against Munster at the end of December. And the referees have judged the offside there, so Ulster get another penalty. And the boos continue.
Well, there's a chance for the home crowd to exercise their vocal cords here. They're livid with Romain Poit. But again, it's a basic error, and it's almost the same spot for Ruan Pienaar. He's probably about a metre backwards, but that is nothing. You know, just as poorly as his fly half is striking a ball out of hand, he struck that first ball brilliantly. David Humphries, of course, his brother. Interesting relationship with Brian McLaughlin, who'll be leaving at the end of this season, which will be fascinating if Ulster go all the way in this tournament. But Ian Humphries really struggling with his game early on. Ruan Pienaar, well, if he hits it like he hit the last one, it's halfway to the back of the stand, right in the Ulster crowd.
See the post swaying in the wind. Pienaar doesn't mind at all. The conditions seem perfect for him. He is kicking perfectly. 6-0, Ulster lead. Just the start they wanted. Not necessarily from fly half Humphries, but certainly from scrum half Pienaar.
Fantastic take there.
It was Tui up on the take from the restart. Then it was Trimble back down to Tui. He lost his place last week. Maybe he was rested. Lewis Stevenson was preferred in the game against Ironi. Now it's the Ulster backs and Humphries. And there's Terblanche. He caves inside ball, and that's good from Terblanche. He kept going and then got the offload in as well. And Henry supporting well. Pienaar to Humphries and Arthoa. Needs a little bit of help, but a muscle comes from big South African Johan Muller. The World Cup winner in this Ulster squad, and the irony can be heard from the Munster fans as referee Poit says, you can have a put in there.
Well, Paul O'Connell, one of the greats at the line-out, but nothing he can do as Ulster go to the front down Tui, which is unusual for Ulster as Tui takes his restart, because Tui tends to be very much the runner with Johan Muller, the line-out taker. Muller's won more line-outs in this Heineken Cup than anyone, and they've got a great balance. Muller's the big man, Tui's the athlete, and they've just shifted the burden there, changed the position, clever play.
Tui's had such a consistent season. His first thoughts, as all players today, will be the outcome of this game for their team. But in the back of the mind, a chance for many to put their names forward internationally as well. These games provide that opportunity, but as I say, they're never part of the thought process for the match itself. Corlin to Murray, little chip, it's meant for Dennis Hurley. Jones after it as well. They're bouncing into touch. It's a little bit of a squeeze on Ulster, a bit of territory then for Munster.
Yeah, I think from halfway line to go 5 metres short of the 22, though, I don't think Ulster will mind that return at all, especially when they've got such options in their line-out. What Munster have to really do here, first 12 minutes, hasn't been about Ulster dominance, it's about Munster giving away penalties and Pienaar's boot. And we saw in the Amlin Cup, Johnny Wilkinson kicked Harlequins out of problems early on. Pienaar can do the same to Munster here. They have to get the discipline right.
Best throws finds Vonenberg. Ulster, remember, lost 2 games in their pool, both on their travels. The Welford Road, the home of Leicester. And that dramatic encounter with Clermont-Auvergne, which really could have gone either way. Gilroy chasing here, but Hurley has time. Gives it to Jones. Here's Zebo. First chance to have a look at hat-trick man from round 6 against Northampton, Simon Zebo. One of 10 players introduced to the Heineken Cup this season by Munster. Tommy O'Donnell coming the latest. There's O'Gara.
He could tackle him. White ball, no hands,
Best and O'Connell have a little skirmish. Meanwhile, the ball is being fought for by the rest of the forwards, and it's back with Lefany Maffey. Sherry. Coming through, the tackles there of Gilroy and Pienaar. There's Murray. Into Keith Earls. Came off with just over 10 minutes left of last week's game. Got a knock, but he's been all right this week.
Strong at the breakdown there, Ulster. Munster didn't make a metre.
And that is adjudged to be a knock-on by Conor Murray at the base, the 22-year-old international scrum half.
And that was a long leg of Ulster there, got to Conor Murray. There you go, Ferris. Stretched all the way, and that's where you get the knock-on. Bang! In he goes, and Murray just pushes that ball forward.
Good use of the ankle.
They have a lot of strapping on, but there's still a bit of stretch there.
He's stretching both sides. He did the splits there, Stephen Ferris. It would have been almost impossible for him to take, I'm sure, had he missed out on this one, having missed out last year. Sure there's any strapping left in the medical cabinet at Ulster. Stephen Ferris has the lot. And still to come, remember today, another quarter-final that is surely bound to be on a knife edge. Saracens against Clermont-Auvergne. Last survivors from England and France now, with Toulouse exiting yesterday. And remember, Edinburgh await the winners of this time. Semi-final to be played at the Aviva Stadium in Dublin. There's Trimble, the man that Ulster more than any other try and get involved into every back movement possible, but it's coming this side, and young Gilroy, and Gilroy's got the pace of his man there, and a lovely shimmy as well. It's keeping going to score one of the great tries in Heineken Cup rugby. As an individual score that is right up there. It is Craig Gilroy. It is Ulster.
That is a wonderful try there from Ulster. It starts with Trimble doing the unglamorous stuff. He came off his right wing. He hit hard into O'Gara, and from then they got quick ball. The passing, like Leinster yesterday, was so accurate. But Gilroy, it's a brilliant finish. But Trimble, look at this now. It's quick ball. They get in then, fast ball. Pienaar's away, and again, the quality of that pass is superb. Ter Blanche fixes his man. Hurley, he's not the quickest, and he's done for pace. Felix Jones will be disappointed. Zebo, he's committed. He's coming across so fast. One final stretch. From a neutral perspective, you're glad he gets there, because that is a mesmeric team try and a brilliant individual run. What a score.
There was so much to do from halfway. That's where he picks up this ball. Craig Gilroy, what a try, what a finish. and now it's 13-0.
Well, there's a long way to go, but that is real daylight. What a moment for Gilroy. The balance is superb there.
4 men had a go, tried to tackle him. They couldn't.
That's the key miss, I think. Dennis Hurley, he's just done for speed, and then Ulster get behind him, and Gilroy is off. It's a brilliant individual effort, but Hurley is going to have to need a bit of protection there.
He's done on the outside, never a good thing for a winger to be involved in. The defensive winger Hurley there caught. Another 22-year-old Craig Gilroy comes through the Ulster Academy with the Dungannon club. And right into this quarter-final as his side have been from the off. Paul O'Connell has work to do on the floor there and work to do generally with his team, because it's all going against Munster here. They concede another penalty, and it's kickable. Of course it's kickable, because even though it's inside the Ulster half, they possess this man Pienaar. It's straight for the post. No thinking about that decision.
Horrified Munster faces. Now let's just go back to Gilroy again. Question mark about Hurley's pace. You think he should have this man cut off, but what Gilroy is going to do absolutely superbly is hold him, and then Hurley's lack of pace is done with a change of angle. Watch what he does here. Hold, fix, and he's on the outside. It's almost imperceptible, but that hold and go, absolutely crucial. What a blow this would be for Munster if this goes over.
Well, even from this distance, you'd say odds on at the moment, the way Pienaar is kicking. Because the way Pienaar is kicking is simply world class. It's up to 16. What a lead in a quarter-final. But as you say, there's a long way to go. But it's a long way back already.
This goal kicking, it's taken me back to Frans Steyn for South Africa. Do you remember that game when he kicked 3 from 60 metres? This is an amazing display of power kicking.
O'Gara tries to hack on, advantage was being played after the knock-on. Munster will put into the scrum, and yeah, here comes the noise. It was almost guaranteed.
Well, at least from a Munster perspective, that was a far better kick. It gives them some position, but again, they concede a penalty, and Pienaar is just ruthless. Miles to spare. Ruined indeed at the moment.
He has 11 points, and 9 of them from inside his own half.
4 kicks, and what's he got, Miles? I'd say it's about 200 metres for 4 kicks.
Could be kicking also all the way to Dublin, but there's a quick tap from Murray. Ulster know it's going to come at them here. The men in red shirts. Murray again. PJ Botha, the former Ulster man. O'Mahony making inroads. That was Donica Ryan. This is Murray. And it's O'Donnell. The noise is there again, but it's coming this time from the Ulster fans, who see the tackles pouring in from their side. Need to try and find the momentum from somewhere. O'Gara to Earls, maybe that's it. Earls with those quick feet. O'Connell, those big heavy strides. Ball's not coming back, it is now. Plucked out of the air by Maffey. Referee plays advantage here. Munster on the verge of their first points of the game. But how many? Corlin. Murray. They're inching ever closer. O'Donnell. Ryan. They're going for the battering route. The interjection of Earls to get those important metres, but ever since it's been attritional, but Ulster have stolen it. And the referee says hands in that ruck, so even though advantage had been passed over, and another penalty comes Munster's way.
Interesting call now. Ronan O'Gara a minute ago had a kick in front of the post, but now he's 5 metres from touch. They need the points, but I think there's a risk of missing, and O'Gara says, with the aid of his captain, we need more than 3. There's no guarantee of 3. I think in front of the post they take the 3. 5 metres out, they say, come on, let's go for more.
O'Gara there with the air of a gunslinger and a Western just puts that ball out.
Well, Miles, they've been here so many times, but what we do now, Ulster are forcing Munster to go deep into the myth of Munster to win this. 16-0 down after 23 minutes.
Sherry throws, it's O'Connell. Roney caught Ulster last week with a tricky little line out short of the line. Ulster were ready that time, but he's going to come straight back at them. Ferris was in, he looks over to the assistant, and it was a knock forward.
By the Munster fans. I'm not going to apologise, but you could guess what they're saying. Oh. Again, you saw the intensity Ulster are hitting breakdowns. In the week, Tony McGowan was saying this game's one of breakdowns. Look at Ferris, he's working so hard, and there's the error again. Once we've seen the big left arm, he's just working and working. Well, it's not a knock-on, it's actually accidental offside, because it's gone forward onto Donica O'Rien's backside, and that's why.
Yeah, Simon's his own man there. Ryan on the floor didn't know anything about it.
But Miles, every breakdown, Ulster are just trying to rock Conor Murray backwards, and he's not getting easy ball to get away. When Pienaar gets ball, it's direct and it's quick. Think about the try. Massive difference at the breakdown.
Munster have looked good at the scrum. Need to look good here as well.
Pause, engage!
Because Munster are coming at them hard for this scrum, and look at that ball comes shooting out the back. The winger has to come in. Gilroy this time trying to save a try, not score one. And the referee gives the penalty.
Captain, time off. Captain.
And just time for the referee to press pause because it was spilling over there.
That was the second scuffle. Other words for you guys, I don't want to see that afterwards. Okay? There is a caution, this is the last. Okay, speak to you guys.
What you want, Romain, and what you get might be 2 different things today. Now that was really slack there. Pienaar drops it in, but nobody cares how it goes in. I think Paddy Vonenberg here hangs on to this ball. To me, that's a penalty against the South African.
White!
Good decision, and they're going to go line out. The scrum has not been solid enough. The line out with O'Connell and all those options. Big moments in this game, isn't it?
15 minutes now until the interval. 16 points the difference. It's a frightening thought for Paul O'Connell that if his side went a point a minute from now until the half-time whistle, they still wouldn't be in front. But they've got to start somewhere. Is this the start? Vian de Pria, the loose head prop. Now it's scrum half Murray. The other prop, Bota. Murray again. O'Donnell held up by Best. In goes Henry, that big 7. Murray switches, finds Corn there. Contesting every time Ulster, then they back off, realising time to fan out once more. O'Gara, crossfield kick. Hurley's going to have to work very hard to get that. And Khan.
I have to say that looks a significant battle won by Ulster there. You know, when Munster are carrying ball into contact, they are being driven backward pretty much every time. And in the end, Ronan O'Gara is speculating there. That's a team going backwards.
Ulster had the option of a scrum there. Of course, it was kicked dead. They've taken the drop out. Changed around a little bit, hasn't it? But not on the scoreboard. And O'Gara's got a long way to go back here. Felix Jones. Where's this one going to land? Well, Tablanche to make sure it doesn't, and he makes the catch. Well, that's good hands until it went to Trimble, then it went flying off his chest. And a knock on in the end. Munster putting in, but back inside their own half.
Well, yesterday we saw a second half where Cardiff Blues had pretty much all the territory in possession and only once threatened the try line. And Ulster did brilliantly then. For all that territory and for all that possession, Tony McGahn saw his team just driven backwards every time there was a contact.
On his way back to Australia at the end of this season. Will roll with the national side and Robbie Dean's Tony McGahn. In his final, Tony McGahn, big occasion in charge. Semi-final to be in Dublin, final. Seem a long way off at the moment. Probably to Ulster as well, in fact.
Well, look at that, 68% in Ulster territory. But when you think about it, Ulster's 16 points have all come from their own territory. A try from their own half and 3 wonder kicks from the deadly boot of Pienaar.
Yes, that's where Ulster score their points, inside their own half.
3 wonder kicks and 1 wonder try, Miles. You know, it is not a reflection of possession and territory, but it is all about the precision and Munster's ill discipline, crucial.
Control by Corlin, now he goes. Maffey to Murray and O'Gara, here comes Earls, we've seen him get away once. And it's Jones. This long spell out of the game, but he said he didn't feel too lonely. And David Wallace, Jerry Flannery to keep him very good company. Sadly, Flannery now having to retire. David Wallace on the bench today. Comes on, it will be his 12th Heineken Cup quarter-final, equal John Hayes' record. Here's Maffey. As ever, strong from Maffey. O'Gara. Well, that's a deliberate attempt to put it right into the corner, and Gilroy was back to cover and put it down for a dropout 22.
It's just not happening for Munster at the moment.
And that shows, doesn't it? That kind of kick is O'Gara's bread and butter.
He's done it so well, and you know, that's not a bad kick. And in the past we've seen it break left to right, and the crowd rise as one in exclamation, but calm.
Wicked break on the ball, good one for Ulster, bad one for O'Gara, but he's straight back into the game. Here's Jones again. Didn't seem to know what to do there for a moment. There's always going to be plenty of support. O'Gara as well to pick that up, so too Matthew had to stretch onto it. Hurley nearly lost it, somehow it keeps going and Zemo has a go. Conor Murray. Sherry short to Ryan. Training a little bit last week and the full training this week. O'Gara in there. Tablanche is coming, he took it on the volley and it might work for him, but he can't get away from the man on the floor. The assistant was right on top of it, doesn't raise a flag, the game continues. O'Mahony. Here comes Maffey. There's a bit of space on this side, not for long as Arfoa comes in with a tackle. Well, Munster and their lack of discipline in this game, well, it's killing them at the moment. Not allowing any sort of flow for them.
Well, Ronan O'Gara's clever here. He's seen space, he's seen that Gilroy's tucked in, but when you watch this now, he chips it. He's got Corlin and Felix Jones, but Blanche, we talked about his positional play, that's a crucial time. He doesn't make a clean contact, but that's a clever kick. Ulster were pushing in to stop O'Gara's passing game. He went over them and Terbrooks just about got there.
And he wasn't held on the floor. We saw there from the replay, it was just a collision.
A tangle.
Yeah, bounced off a couple of players. That's why he fell to the ground.
I think it's a day, Miles, when a few tangles can be forgiven. Tension in the air here, but again, discipline. It is destroying Munster.
Ireland's most cap hooker. Rory Best to throw in. Less than 10 minutes until the interval. The one try scored by Gilroy. What a try as well. Pienaar in front of his man there, but the referee again waves it on. That's Henry.
No Munster player anywhere near Pienaar there. Right decision.
It wasn't really interfering, preventing the game from continuing. What about Humphries' drop goal? What a kick indeed from Ian Humphries. Now, he didn't start the game too well, but that is a major contribution. Again, Ulster get a little bit of territory and they're ruthless. That's a long way out.
The moment that hit his left boot, that was going only one place. Munster are being O'Gara on their own turf here.
Backward!
They've come back before Munster here. This one will rank alongside any.
Well,
we mean any.
Yeah, if Munster are going to win this, I talked about them having to go deep into their myth to win this. And I can recall being here as a spectator when they had to score the 4 tries against Gloucester, and they did it in the last second. Well, what Munster have done now, in the space of 32 minutes, is mean Munster are going to have to rewrite the storybooks. They need something unbelievable. 20 points needed to take the lead.
Well, over the years they've shown some European magic, from the little card trick all the way through to the miracle. And they're going to have to be at the miracle end of the scale here, because Ulster, well, they're not celebrating their success in terms of the result yet, but they are right to be very happy, those supporters, at the way in which the game has gone and the way in which their players have acquitted themselves here in this quarter-final atmosphere. Struggled on the road before many times, so many times over the years, since that famous year of 1999 when they won the trophy itself. Just the 2 quarter-finals in 99 when they beat Toulouse, and the one that they lost last year after all that wait to Northampton. 23-13 it finished. But this year, a 19-0 lead. Here's Murray. Maffey. You feel it's very important for Munster to get something before half-time. There's O'Malley. Good day. Starting to look like what Leinster had to do in the final last year against Northampton. He was man of the match in round 1 versus Northampton. That was his Heineken Cup debut. O'Connell. Murray. There's 2 forwards there. Bolter and O'Mahony. And it keeps going because the bulk of the forwards, maybe it's possible for Munster to keep the ball in field. There's Ryan to O'Gara. Might be an extra man here. Earls on to Maffey. Here's Zebo! And Munster do get something before half-time. Such an important score.
They really did need that score, and this time it was Ulster sucked in, and there was some accurate passing. The crowd are booing because we're going to the video, but that's a score from Simon Zebo. The one thing he needed to do was catch the ball. His pace will do the rest. Trimble doesn't get there. We'll need to just check on the foot, but no doubt about that. Good finish. Trimble was pulled in by the extra Munster men. Maffey in particular couldn't get across.
For the first time in the game, Ulster lost their defensive alignment. That little switch to the blind side really worked. And by the time it went left, there was some space, and Munster grabbed it. grabbed onto it as they had to.
Well, they get sucked very tight here. You can see 3 men in the space of 5 metres. Trimble is on his own, it's 1 against 3. Jones cuts in, Maffey straightens the line.
Good work from the centres, Earls and Maffey there. O'Gara gets a conversion, or the opportunity for one, and he does get it for real. Munster 7, Ulster 19. As the pull went on, Munster turned those narrow squeaks into thumping triumphs. Well, today, looks like it'll have to be a narrow squeak if it is to be victory for them, but they're right back into the game with 5 minutes until half-time. And this enthralling, fascinating, and at times totally thrilling quarter-final. Zebo had swapped wings here to chase on this kick to Blanche. O'Gara was first there. Zebo went high.
Well, that isn't often a penalty.
Not given. Ferris. Pienaar got a call from Humphreys, who only just got the ball over O'Gara, and O'Gara curses there. He knew there was a chance of a drop. Charge down, and a chance to drop his side into a very good position inside the Ulster half. Henry's in trouble here. Yellow card trouble.
Well, there's a swing. There's a swing. Nothing has gone Munster's way for the first half hour. But with Henry down, they've got 5 minutes going into half-time and afterwards when they can really try and strike. And for the first time in this game, Ulster's ultra-efficient, ultra-aggressive defence picked out.
O'Gara puts out and rather conservative, not the longest kick from him. Here's the sin bin. Henry on the floor. Corlin took exception to it, and the referee did as well.
Yeah, pretty cynical from Chris Henry. Decisive from Romain Poit, who has been nothing if not decisive all game.
Extra man either side of half-time. Maffey. Murray to... Oh, that's a great line! Only just tapped to the floor. He was flying there, was Keith Earls. Jones, and it's a different Munster, different to the side that started the match. Was involved in a scrap off the ball, it's rolling past again. There's another one with Court in Jones, but this now is O'Donnell. To get a second score before the interval. O'Gara, they're going wide again with Maffey. Gets away from the first man. It was Trimble who decided to commit himself there. Right decision, but for Ulster there need to be some more good decisions in defence here. Tommy O'Donnell.
They're sucked in again, Miles, as they were for the try.
And Felix Jones was calling for the ball on this near side, but it's turnover. Turnover ball for Ulster, and now it's Jones having to get back. And Hurley too. And Trimble's after this. And Hurley will be grateful that ball's gone out.
Great kick. Ulster just getting caught narrow. Look at the first try. O'Gara's on your left, the ball's going back to him. 5 Ulster men there, and just in the left, top left of your screen, you'll see a circle. When we roll that on, you'll see how isolated Trimble is. O'Gara's come back, they pulled it back. 1, 2, 3, 4 against 1, and you know Trimble on the other side was almost isolated, but he came in for the hit, did really well. That's lovely play from Maffey. The timing is good, and the turnover just now from Ulster so important because Munster were threatening another score.
And he's a terrific finisher, Zebo, isn't he?
Oh yes, he can shift, he can finish.
Murray. And Zebo on the chase here to meet Trimble again. Trimble gets away from him, and also Call and Andrew Trimble. 2 tries in that crushing defeat of Leicester at Ravenhill in the pool stages. Here's Jones just watching another one roll and roll. He was on the move, never stopped.
Well, one has to say that Ian Humphreys dropped a beautiful, a consummate goal, but his play has been poor. He's kicked ball away, and that hasn't helped Ulster, who have had to make an awful lot of tackles. It's the precision of their point scoring that gives them a comfortable lead, but in the second half, Munster will think, Thomond Park, they're making all those tackles, we'll just keep steamrolling into them. You can imagine O'Connell coming time after time. Laurie Best, Johan Muller and company have got a long way to go yet, a long way to go.
That's why at 19-0, no counting of chickens by anybody here, anybody that's seen Munster over the years. I wonder Rory Best needs a little bit of treatment. He's been involved in everything, including every scrap. On and off the ball. Phlegmatic Tony McGahn.
Good scrum, guy. Crutch. Touch. Pause. Engage.
Much better Munster scrum. Remember how the half started. And this will give O'Gara a chance from distance inside the opposition half. Not quite got the length of Pienaar. He does strike them from a long way out. But Pienaar is almost in a class of his own.
Really is seeing a sea change here. Munster's scrum dominating, earning the penalty. What a finish to the half this would be for Munster if they could get back to 10-19, having been 19-0 down. They've suffered so much from the sniper fire of Pienaar, the genius of Gilroy, the brave defence, but 10 points in 5 minutes, Miles, a man extra for 5 minutes in the second half. Hard to call if he gets this.
It's not quite a point a minute from that 25-minute juncture that we mentioned. But Munster will be very happy with the return. In the final stages of this half, if this goes over, it's going to be very tight. But it's fallen O'Gara and Munster's way. So at half-time, the lead has been reduced dramatically. From 19-0 for Ulster, it's now 19-10.
I don't think the last 10 minutes of the first half really impacts upon the way Ulster were thinking. They need to tighten up. As the guys were saying in the studio, they have to concentrate on their wide defence. They've got to maintain 80 minutes of intensity at the breakdown. The question is, can they do that? They've made so many tackles, so many hits in the first half. If the heart's big enough and the lungs are strong enough, they still have a very good chance of one of the most famous wins in their history. Not as big as winning the European Cup final, but in terms of stature, winning at Munster would be a bigger win in many ways.
Start this second half without that ban. Chris Henry still in the sin bin. And how important will this little spell be after one-man clock blows the whistle to start this second half? We hear now the roar greeting Munster and their return to the pitch.
Haven't seen the most from that man Paul O'Connell yet. He's been a little bit static, and I think it reflects the fact that Munster have been driven off the ball at contact, and if he starts going forward, if he starts soaring in the air, then Ulster are in trouble, and then this crowd will really get behind their heroes.
It's 5 years since Munster last lost back-to-back home games, as they were defeated by Leinster last week. These are figures of note. 5 years. Another figure of note, they won all 6 pool games, and no side has ever gone on to win the trophy having done that. There goes O'Connell trying to contest the all-important first bounce of the ball in the second half, but man taken out in the air. is the call from the referee. No great complaint from O'Connell either.
Nah, instinctive there from Paul O'Connell, wasn't it? The ball was bobbling, it wasn't coming down from a kick, but there's no doubt at all he took the Ulster player out, both feet off the ground. A little bit of a let-off for Ulster there. It was a sloppy restart from their point of view, and a good one from Ronan O'Gara and Paul O'Connell's point of view. Penalty goes to Ulster, but you can see immediately Ulster putting pressure on, and there's the penalty, O'Connell.
Munster being forced to wait at the line out. Paul O'Connell's making that point to the referee. What were they all over there having a chat for? Well, we know. Paul O'Connell certainly does too.
Tick, tick, tick.
Up goes Tui, won some very good ball early in the match with Dan Tui. A bit like with the scrum, it seemed to even itself out and start to go Munster's way, in fact, as the half went on the set piece.
But of course, Henry off as well. That just exaggerated it, didn't it?
Hardly helps. Caught by Hurley, who has spent many a game at full-back. He's got underneath the high ball is Dennis Hurley. There's Mike Sherry getting his first taste of a Heineken Cup quarter-final. There's Jones. Murray nearly losing his shirt. Being dragged right back into it, but still going on. That was the key point. There's Donica Ryan. Maybe one or two surprised that he wasn't picked at 6. A little bit more weight to the back row. Must certainly feel in O'Mahony and O'Donnell. They have men who, as the game goes on, can maybe give Ulster the run around. And the accuracy that at times wasn't always there in the first half. There's some cruel luck on bouncers as well there from O'Gara to establish this and to create this as well, the noise again.
Millimetres out in the first half, but right on the money there from Ronan O'Gara. That time he wasn't going for broke, he wasn't going for the corner, he was going for pressure. 15 against 14 and force Ulster, and one has to say it, to amble pedestrianly back to the next line out.
Munster waiting there, hands on hips. Best throws and unopposed is Pedri Vandenberg. Hadn't been signed up before the directive to go a little bit more local. So Pedri Vandenberg will be heading off to France at the end of the season. I think Ulster, sad to see him go. He's been a big contributor, as of all the South Africans. Added so much. 1 minute left on the sin bin. Rain in the air again as O'Gara kicks crossfield this time. And Terblanche at 36. Having to cover a lot of ground at the start of this second period.
Yeah, Ronan O'Gara's got the scalpel out, hasn't he? He is really dissecting Ulster at the moment. He's shifting them left to right, right to left. Hurley does well here because that was an excellent kick from Pienaar. Big and strong under the ball, good width, but O'Gara thinks no. Territory, and once again the crowd are livid because Ulster are taking an eternity.
It is so noisy here, but I don't think I've heard the referee give Ulster
The hurry up, no.
the hurry up or the warning. Perhaps should have done, Roman Platt. Tui again going up there without anybody else trying to take it off him. Vandenberg on the floor. Pienaar couldn't dig it out, don't think it was a dummy. Then it's Terblanche and Zebo. Ball's a little bit slippy, started to rain, but Zebo got it second time, but Jones doesn't. And it's a knock-on advantage. Home supporters think that the challenge might have been illegal with a bit of a dump into the floor.
Well, the ball had gone. Felix Jones certainly was manhandled. There was a terrible pass from Zebo. No sympathy.
But Munster get the penalty here. Henry about to come out of the sin bin. That is crucial for Ulster's chances to get their big back rower back onto the field.
They need him as soon as possible because Munster are turning the screw in terms of territory. I don't think O'Gara is going to think of anything but the corner. He's going for post.
Oh,
Long way.
Get the challenge,
Long way.
Thank you.
Well, you immediately check the wind.
No.
A tuft of grass through it in the air. We think he's wind assisted, well, judging by Pienaar's attempt at the first half. You never know with Rowan Pienaar, he can kick so long and hard.
Felix Jones is definitely dumped here. Watch this, John Afoa. Dangerous play. All you would say is the knock-on has occurred. That ain't pretty.
All the little bits of litter are blowing in all kinds of directions, and that one caught the wind and was held up. Here's Gilroy. Some of the pieces of the paper were going in the direction of the kick and some weren't. So try judging that. Ronan O'Gara and Rowan Pienaar. And now Ulster back to their full complement. Get a penalty given against Donica Ryan. It's Peter O'Mahony who goes back. In retreat. But not now, because that has failed to find touch. And here's O'Gara to Jones. Zebo, what line is he going to cut here? Henry is still off. Just waiting for that ball to go out.
Hell of an error not putting the ball in touch from Pienaar, wasn't it?
O'Gara to Maffey. Tackle from Kane. There's O'Gara again. Gives it to Sherry. Pops it up, knowing somebody would be there, and it was not just somebody, just anybody. Paul O'Connell, such an important figure for Munster if they are going to complete this comeback. That's James Corlin. Has a good step, and now he has a chance to really use his weight. And look at the tackles flying in. That was Ferris who went in. He might have hurt to Blanche. He's certainly gone down the fullback in that clatter of bodies, and O'Gara will just see if the quick one is possible, but he knows from in front of the post here. This will be 3 points. Blanche is sitting up, and now the clock having ticked, Henry is allowed back onto the field. This is Corlin, got away, and then he's a steam engine. That's where Blanche feels the weight of the Munster number 8.
Well, Corlin carried superbly in the pool stages. He averaged 40 metres or so. He's been quiet so far. That was a really important break there. It brings Munster within a converted score. They can smell Ulster now, assuming the kick goes over. But Corlin, he's been quiet. We said if O'Connell gets carrying and winning line-out ball, that'll be a lift. Corlin also, get him on the front foot. He's moving.
And here's the hush. Never a doubt for Ronan O'Gara from there, wind or no wind. Still not a flicker of emotion from that man. Can he be a man that takes Munster all the way in Europe as well? Well, it's possible again. Didn't seem that way at 19-0, but now 19-13. And Felix Jones with the catch. Made reference to last year's final between Leinster and Northampton earlier. And it was 22-6 at half-time, and they managed to turn that one around, the Irish team. They've got a 19-pointer here to Blanche, who's recovered. from the knock from Corlin and from Ferris when he arrived to show his commitment. Total lack of concern for his injury problems. That was Cave, pops up for Gilroy.
It's a very good line, Darren Cave.
Tom caught, but his line was going to be straight there. Very straight. Hands all over it, comes back. Pienaar knocking on, no he didn't. Here's Henry, that's Best. Slips out of his grasp. And the referee blows quickly for the knock-on. It was just getting a little bit fiery again.
Ulster are flustered, there is no doubt about it. The crowd has come to life. Certainly the 20,000 Munster fans, they're starting to win the hits. We're seeing Cave's little line here. But Munster, you said it's possible they could come back from 19-0 right now. And the balance of probability and the way this game is moving, it's probable. Ulster have the lead, but Munster have major momentum. We know Munster can come back from these scenarios. Now we are going to find out what Ulster and their South Africans are made of. The heat is on.
Yes, the jitters from Ulster almost inevitable, given the fact that they were so far in front and had one foot in that semi-final. But typically Munster, that foot is being dragged out of that semi-final bit by bit.
You know, Miles, you were saying before half-time, 19-0, Munster need the next score. Let's just hear what Roman Poit has to say first.
Number 1 and number 3. The main problem is on your side, okay? I asked you the first half to get a long line. I don't think you did it, okay? Now, from now, you are getting a long line and a good angle, okay? A good angle, that's enough. Let's go.
Tom Court and BJ Bota.
I was just saying, Munster so desperately needed that score before half-time. They got 2. Well, Ulster need the next score even more than Munster needed that one at about 30 minutes. Listen to the crowd now.
There's the famous singing here. Can and does make so much difference. The players tell you. Drives them on. Ulster going to try and use it as an inspiration, use their supporters as well, but they'll be feeling nervous now. And it's Terblanche feeling a little nervous by what confronted him there, maybe. Got the help just in time. Pienaar kicks. O'Gara. Bang, back towards the corner. He knows what he wants to do. Trimble knew that too. And his international colleague finds him on opposite sides today, and Trimble has lost a lot of ground there, potentially.
Well, things are really going badly at the moment for Ulster. Ruan Pienaar, of all people, he booted a ball aimlessly 50 metres downfield. Ronan O'Gara now is sweeping and he's waiting. O'Gara fired the ball into the corner. Trimble marks it, and then extremely hurriedly he just slices a ball out.
Well, didn't that moment show the jitters?
Yeah,
it's encapsulated there with Trimble's reaction, normally so cool and calm.
Yeah, and suddenly O'Gara saying, right, I'll push this ball where I want. He's been doing it all this half.
O'Mahony's take. Wants to go for the drive. The tournament this season was launched by Ronan O'Gara's deadly late deeds in those opening 2 rounds, when Munster could easily have lost. As O'Gara was saying in his interview with Alan Quinlan, perhaps should have lost. But Munster find the ways, and they're doing it again here. But as yet, they're still not in front. O'Mahony, tackle from Arfoa. Earls. In goes Cave and Pienaar too. Every tackle counts now, and Ulster have made a lot of them. O'Connell somehow managed to keep on going, even though his eyes were for the ball, as he nearly lost his grip on it. O'Gara's gone deep, he's allowing the forwards here to to go forward a little bit more, just wonder whether he's considering a drop goal. Not quite yet, comes flat, brings in Maffey. Maffey takes on Wallace. And Murray gets it back to O'Connell. Maffey has carried so well today, a lot of them as well. O'Donnell. Sherry, O'Gara in three minds there. Now it's Zebo. And Maffey. Maffey shouldn't lose possession. It was a good tackle, but Maffey normally is a man to hold on. He does so again. Hurley tries to gamble on the kick, and Gilroy doesn't get away that time, but it's precious ball here for Ulster. They managed to survive. It's good defence. Verging on the great defence, you say. To Blanche, to Trimble, everybody interchanging here. Humphreys in the centre position, shows it to Vandenberg, gets it on to Wallace, throws the ball back inside. He was hoping that somebody would land on it. That somebody was best that time, but it's Munster's turn to scramble, and this now is roll your sleeves up, have a scrap.
Well, Donnacha Ryan does brilliantly there, making the big hit to push the man out. Individually, some very strong tackles from Ulster, but they're not slowing Munster down as they were in the first half. Under major pressure. I've just watched Donnacha Ryan. This is the virtue of having a bloke who's a top-class back row forward playing in the second row. You think Ulster have got a chance to play it, but no, Ryan's the first man there. Get into touch, mate, our ball.
Munster about to make a change. Johnny Murphy away on the far side is stripped off, about to come on. Mike Sherry throws, well, through the fingers of Paul O'Connell, but it didn't matter in the end. Cleaned up by Corlin. Murray. That's O'Donnell. O'Gara, and Earls lost it. Chance for a hack downfield, and Zebo's going to be first, but he's going to be on his own for a while. Corlin says, come this way, come with me, I'll help you out. Zebo shows his pace there to get away. But there was a moment when he was the only man back. That's good hands there from Jones and O'Gara. And then prop forward Dupree. In goes Murray. It was controlled by the shin initially from Earls. No, it wasn't. It's a knock on. His hands were down there. The referee wasn't sure. He had to look over to the side.
Well, Munster are trying to pick up the pace of this game now. Ronan O'Gara, lovely pass there, but it's coming from the fact that their gain line is very strong. This is an error from Munster. There aren't so many this half. Here's Zebo doing what you'd expect him to do, which is run away from the first man and then set it up. But the key is the way that Munster are going into the tackles and they're crossing the gain line. In the first 20 minutes, they were being repelled every time by Ferris, Tui, Muller and company. This time, people like Vian Dupree are making 3, 4, 5 metres, and it's quick ball. And for all the heroicism of the tackling, unless Ulster collectively start to slow Munster down at the breakdown, they're going to get outflanked here.
Johnny Murphy on, you saw there. He's come on for Dennis Hurley. Swap on the wing, and that man about to come on. And he looks like he means business. Donnacha O'Callaghan made his Heineken Cup debut way back in 1998.
Give a big 20, won't you? For Ulster, what they have to do, they've got to keep their hands on the ball here. They've had no territory, they've had no possession. They're probably thinking, yeah, you know, we're only 3-0 down in the second half to date, but with Munster's ability to eke out late wins, you just sense Ulster have to get the next score in this game if they're going through. You sense it.
I think you can sense now is the sheer tension in the ground. Pienaar was caught in possession, but
big call.
Not coming off the scrum too early.
Tom O'Donnell may be the man.
And 7 not.
Yeah, it is. Not binded.
Wrong, and 7 unbinded.
I think it was 2 offences, wasn't it? Being whipped around the scrum itself.
No, he's called it for not binding.
Well, he said both, I think, and he said also 7 who comes off early, which he does.
And that is exactly the break Ulster needed. Not actually doing too much themselves, but an error from Munster, and they haven't made many this half. It gives Pienaar a chance. Now, can the immaculate boot of the sniper strike again?
Can't blame the youngster O'Donnell for being keen, but just made sure the penalty was going to be given anyway. And amidst all this tension, Pienaar trying to be the coolest man in the ground, and he is. How impressive is that? And for Ulster, it is a massive score. 3 points only. Only.
Well, Ruan Pienaar, he's not carried the ball once. He's not been a threat to Munster, but his box kicking has been good. His goal kicking has been from another planet, and now the pressure comes back on Munster. They needed that cushion, Ulster. They needed it desperately.
That would have felt like a try under the sticks. It was that important. O'Connell just fell for him, but it so often does, and it can't be coincidence. There's Ryan.
Roaring around Ryan this half.
Here comes Corlin. Broken through once in this second half. And the advantage being played for that tackle. So immediately, having got that cushion, Munster could be about to take the stuffing out of it.
Stephen Ferris was the man penalised for coming in on the blind side of Corlin. It was physical in the extreme. Shakes his head a little bit. Thought it was borderline. I'd like to see it again. Corlin comes on the short angle.
It's initially up there, isn't it? And as you said before, you're running the risk.
Well, that 9-point buffer looks as if it was pretty short-lived, doesn't it?
There's nobody in this competition who scored more points than Ronan O'Gara. We heard how proud he is of that fact. And he wants those records at the end of his career, whenever that is, but what he wants here is one simple thing: to see his side through to the semi-final again. And it's back on the cards with that 3-pointer. And what a final quarter we have in store here. To have to show the discipline in front of the kicker there on the restart. Munster won't rush it. They know this is plenty of time. Now they're back within range.
Not a bad result there for Ulster. Conor Murray would have liked that ball to stay in field. Ulster, good line-out, get possession.
We should just remind you, I'm sure you need no reminding, but just in case, to verify the kick-off time, Saracens against Clermont-Auvergne coming up after this. And that will be every bit as tense. Best throws down from one. Pienaar to Humphreys to Ferris. No signs of him going off. Trimble. Boot comes through, and then O'Callaghan comes through, and it is a knock-on. Munster get the ball back, and these bits of possession now absolutely vital.
I just watched Paul O'Connell just pat the hand of his old warrior mate, Donnacha O'Callaghan, for little bits and pieces. O'Callaghan, scruffy, causing problem. You run this on now. Paul O'Connell just goes up to his mate who's come off the bench. Watch O'Connell now. Bang, there you go. Well done, Donica, welcome to the fray. Just lost their precision a little bit, Ulster. They're hanging on a bit.
But they've not lost their lead.
No, they have not.
Steady. Crunch. Touch.
And this sellout crowd, it will be a sellout either way at the Aviva, of course. Whoever goes through to meet Edinburgh, which one of these two will it be? And that enticing prospect of an all-Ireland final is still very much on the cards.
Well, for all of Edinburgh's excellent performance in victory against Toulouse, with the semi-final being in Ireland and Munster's pedigree, and if Ulster win here, their buoyancy, the winners today, you can't get away from the fact will be strong favourites to go to Twickenham, strong favourites.
And it's absolutely no disrespect to Edinburgh to say that. In fact, Edinburgh might want that.
Yeah, exactly.
To be said. I'll say, bring it on if that's what you think of us. And what a performance it was from Edinburgh yesterday to see off Toulouse. There's Murray to Earls.
Good tackle, Henry, again.
Well, there's no doubt there's extra chatter in the air here because Edinburgh have gone through. It's only natural to take on the view that that does, for the other teams, potentially open the door a little bit. But as I say, no disrespect to Edinburgh and what they've achieved, what they could still achieve. They are a team going in the right direction and believing anything is possible. If it is coming down to belief here, who has it deep down inside in this final quarter of an hour? Remember how strongly Munster finished the first half. If they do it again, it'll be their game. Murray. Earls is struggling off the ball, and he got that knock last week. He's been battered again today. Murray kicks.
Well, Earl's in trouble. Earl's in trouble, but Pienaar defending really well at the moment. Coming off his blind line quickly.
15 minutes for Munster to rescue their Heineken Cup season again. Had a few rescue acts already this season. Bestemola, that's reliable ball. But it also has to be drive ball. No else to drive well. And get the penalty for the ball being pulled down. That's a little moment for Ulster to savour. It really is.
Well, physically they found it quite hard in this second half, and they were able to slow the game down, drive, get the penalty. Now Pienaar, he missed touch last time. He ain't going to miss this one. That's not quite in the second tier, but it ain't going to go far short. Certainly not going to go into the arms of Dennis Hurley. And I think Rory Best taking their time. Just taking their time again, maybe just trying to take the heat out of Munster. Line-out's been good, hasn't it? Really good.
Not that time as O'Connell steps in.
Cometh the hour.
Now does that reflect what we're going to see from Munster in the final section of the game, just when Ulster thought in their pack they'd recorded a psychological blow. Typical Munster, they record one of their own, and James Corlin goes on, and O'Connell goes on and on. Grimace is on the floor to get that ball back, to keep this move going. Maffey for Jones. Never has the phrase "one eye on the clock" been more apt. You cannot watch this game anymore without looking at the clock as well.
And in the context of a Heineken Cup quarter-final at Thomond Park, we're not far short of forever to go. 12 minutes lasts a long time. Paul O'Connell, what a moment to just step up in front of Johan Muller, the Heineken Cup's leading line-out taker on his own throw and steal a key.
Been keeping another eye. We could do with a few more eyes up here on Keith Earls. He seems to have seen off the injury for now. Munster are making a change, but it's in hooker. It's Damien Varley. He's got that important try against Northampton in round one, who comes on for Mike Sherry. Varley just had one or two issues of late, and they will not need to show here.
Well, Sherry is regarded as a slightly more accurate thrower, but Varley does carry. He really comes with impact. And right now, well, 12 minutes to go. Still plenty of time for Munster, forever for Ronan O'Gara, but they will have one eye on that clock. And a forward who can carry hard, fast over the gain line will not harm their hopes. Very flat, O'Gara. Just look at his alignment here. Really flat.
And not thinking at the moment about an O'Gara drop goal. It's beyond that. Of course, with that point gap, though, if there were to be a penalty and then another three-pointer, we could be looking at extra time. But Munster here have to be in the mindset of not risking three-pointers, even though they have O'Gara in their side.
Ian Duprea and John Afoa, along with Romain Poit. The whole world of rugby here, South Africa, New Zealand and France, chatting about our favourite subject, the scrum. Watch out for Corlin here. I think he'd love to fire in to Ian Humphreys off a big scrum.
Touch. Pause. Engage.
Who's going to get the nudge? Well, it's Munster get the free kick, and Murray away so quickly. Henry the man to see him, and Henry the man to get him. Muller goes low on O'Connell and tangles with his opposite captain. There's O'Mahony. Got it away somehow to Corlin. And Murray. Cries of offside as Ulster come into that tackle very quickly again.
They've hit that short side brilliantly in the last 10 minutes. So definitive in their tackling.
And they'll need to do it again. There goes BJ Bota to Paul O'Connell.
Right step.
Murray. It is all short side, but it worked, didn't it, for Munster in the first half, and suddenly they went the other way and found the space for Zebo, and Maffey on this near side is bellowing for the ball. But first, it has to be the forwards again. The call from Murray, the scrum half. In danger of getting wrapped up by Pienaar, and therefore in danger of losing the ball. And Maffey will be furious. It never came his way. And Murray the man who made those decisions, and that time it didn't bear fruit. And Ulster worked so hard there, and they get their reward of a penalty and the chance to clear. Look at those tackles now. 137, and we've still got 10 minutes to play.
Astonishing. Pienaar, he's missed touch.
Again, how crucial could that be? Johnny Murphy. He was going for distance, was really trying to release the pressure as best he could, but all he's done is bring it all right back on Ulster. O'Gara to Maffey. Maffey stepping. Tackle was from our forward, and it caused the spillage. And now it's Ferris, and he kicks.
Backward.
Johnny Murphy goes back, and Ferris, well, you wouldn't know he'd been injured at all. Here comes Vandenberg.
This is incredible from the Ulster back row.
He's got Earls, and the referee gives the put into Ulster. And in that last 2 or 3 minutes, have Ulster gone and won the game? Once more, it's far too early for them to celebrate, but that was an unbelievable effort from the Ulster defence. It was defence that turned into attack.
Well, John Afoa tight head prop. What an effort there. Ferris kicks it clear, and it has been an act of sheer willpower from Ferris. Connell upset. We'll stay on the subject of defence. Munster have been trying to plug down that short side as their fans look on in pain. And we talked earlier about Pienaar coming off the line and the crowd shouting offside. Well, this time Murray's going to go again. And look at Cave, the speed with which he just hits up here. This is vital. He just commits himself. Bang! And it's just everything. This isn't a tackle. This is a matter of life and death on the rugby field for Darren Cave. Just throws everything into it.
Ulster players there turning every thought that they've had in their rugby career, every ambition at wearing the jersey in a Munster sort of way.
I mean,
to such good effect to produce the best when it matters.
Well, 96% possession for Munster in 10 minutes, no point. Few teams can hang on like that at Munster. This is an act of will.
Vandenberg trying to shield his scrum half, Pienaar there, as that scrum was turning round.
So they need Pienaar to find his kicking game here.
And his boots trying to free that ball, and now it's Tui. And the flag is up. Could be valuable ground. Tui tried to eat it up with his big stride. Munster making more changes. Tomas O'Leary is coming on, and that's David Wallace coming on. Well, 35 years of age, David Wallace now returning after this awful knee injury which he suffered, which took away that chance for him at the World Cup, his last World Cup chance. But Munster, well, they know all about last-minute, last-gasp efforts, and they're going to have to find another. But mistake from Jones. Ulster ball.
It was a lovely pass from Keith Earls. He took another hammer in, but O'Gara's pass was always putting him under pressure, and Earls had the skill to get it away, and Jones just lost his balance. Ball off the top on their own 22. That's a good pass, but he's hit hard and he's just lost it. There's problems for Gilroy. It's good passing. Lovely from Keith Earls. Never quite had his balance there. Gilroy has a few questions there. Just couldn't get going, could he?
Keith Earls is still limping around out there. It's come back again. Not sure it ever went away. And they're asking the question. They'll shake of the head from the physio. Earls is seemingly demanding to stay on. Ulster fans trying to cheer their side through, but it's not safe yet. Munster's still within that try and conversion range.
But now we are in the realm where Ronan O'Gara's computer of a rugby brain is ticking over time. He knows now that we are almost at the 7-pointer. Almost.
Can Ulster find another score which would just about seal it?
You reckon?
Arfoa.
Humphreys is looking in drop goal zone.
We have to say the way Ulster are defending, another score here, and not even Munster could get themselves out of that pit. Humphreys has gone back. He got one in the first half. No, because O'Leary was there so quickly. He goes for a low effort. Oh, he hit wood.
Ooh, that was audacious. Well played, Tomas O'Leary. He put the fly half off his stride.
Had it not been for O'Leary there, Humphreys would have gone first time. Forced to go second time, and he was that close to glory. But Ulster in general, 6 minutes away from glory. And their greatest win since that final in '99, Vandenberg. Pienaar.
That's a penalty.
David Wallace has gone through and he's conceded a penalty, and one more from Pienaar. might do the trick, should do the trick.
Well, 74 minutes, 38 seconds on the clock. Pienaar will take his full minute. David Wallace been out of action so long, comes into the Heineken Cup, scrapping, they're fighting the ball, and he just dives off his feet. And I've got to say, it doesn't matter how frustrated Wallace has been at his injury and his length of time off the field, for a player of all that experience to do that.
Can I get a drink, sorry?
And this might just be it. Pienaar, his all-round game has been great the second half, but his goal kicking has been celestial.
It was almost the last throw of the card, wasn't it, to put David Wallace on, to try and hope that that experience found the big moment for Munster. But the moment could be here for Ulster and here for Pienaar. Is this Ulster's moment in time again? No, it's not just yet. Munster survive. Pienaar can't believe it after all those successful kicks. But it's so often the way.
Oh, O'Callaghan and O'Connell and O'Gara, they've got the restart back.
O'Leary, O'Gara, Maffey. Almost had to pull that back from Perpignan, where he's going next season. But he got it. O'Leary wants the penalty, wants to get this side moving quickly upfield. The moment it's slow ball, and it's trap ball, and it's Wallace.
Stay square!
And Munster have had a lot of territory and a fair few points, but not enough at the moment. We've been 19-0 down at one point. Was it just too much to pull back? It's gone forward, Ulster will put in, and there's just over 3 minutes now.
Well, you know, Miles, for half an hour or so, Ulster have only been 6 ahead. With Munster having the momentum, I thought they were favourites, and they've done a brilliant job to just slow them down now. Ulster, they are sticking with what started. Munster have flooded their bench. Ulster trust in the men. It's about willpower here.
Yet to make a change after all those tackles. Henry's had a rest. He was in the sim bin. But that's it. And Stephen Ferris, considering the doubt, and they were clearly genuine doubts, but as David Humphries said to me before kick-off, you know, we would not take a risk with Stephen Ferris in his career. But there's another element to it. Stephen Ferris, I don't think, would have allowed anyone to leave him out the side. That is the measure of the man.
Stephen Ferris would take a risk. That's the point. Yeah. He can be hobbling around in his old days, but he would not want to miss victory at Thomond Park. It means too much. Forget about the rationale of when you're old and grey and wise. It's not about that. It's about this moment.
Ulster knew about the importance of his presence. Munster 2.
I've got to say, Johan Muller and Tui in the second row, outstanding as well. But there is still life. Still life to go. 2 minutes, 10 seconds. I hate to say it, Miles, how many times have we been here and seen Munster somehow extricate themselves from the mire? It's not over yet.
More importantly, how many times have teams been here over the years and have suffered with the Munster recovery. Leicester won here in 07 in a pool game. Quins won here in an Amlin game.
All due respect to Quins, the Amlin is not the Heineken, and Munster don't see it as the fortress. Leicester won because they demolished the scrum, and psychologically they took Munster on. This scrum now becomes the most important for Ulster in their season. If this scrum is solid, they win the match.
And the most important thing is that those games, okay, the Amlin, as you say, knockout, but not as important, clearly. Not in the knockout stages in the Heineken Cup of Munster, lost on this ground, and it has been knocked on. It could be the most important of the match, that scrum. Munster are going to get one last chance.
Well, that's the measure of Munster. Under immense pressure, their scrum finds something, whether it's just the will and determination of O'Callaghan with Ryan and O'Connell and Wallace. Amazing scrum.
Pienaar unhappy, and he might have had a case there.
But it was a fine scrum by Munster. They forced the decision from Poit. Credit to Munster's pack there.
And no time to dwell on it. And Pienaar gives O'Leary a shove in return, but O'Leary is often running away. O'Connell. O'Leary again. Varley. Crowd can hardly bear it. Donnacha Ryan. Time about to go red, it does. It's the men in red trying to save themselves. And Maffey and Jones. O'Gara hits the ruck, but so too does Court. O'Leary, one more mistake and Munster have gone, and Ulster are through. And they've won the All-Irish battle. O'Connell. He will not release that ball. Now he will have to. Referee Poit is about to blow and doesn't. O'Gara. Tackled by Wallace. O'Leary looking to try and free those arms to get it to somebody. And Ryan reacts. And the phases are rising again. Just like they did with O'Gara got his late drop goal against Northampton. But this time it has to be across the line for Munster, and they're still a long way from it.
They're within 30.
It's more and more tackles from Ulster. We've lost count. O'Gara again. That's the whistle. Ulster have done it. It's one better than last year. And it's memories of '99, the greatest year for Ulster rugby. 13 years on, are Ulster about to top it? They are a step away from the Heineken Cup final, and they will play the semi-final in Ireland, in Dublin, where they triumphed in '99. And for Munster, the dream has come to an end. The played 6, won 6 curse in the pool stages has struck again, and this was one recovery that Munster in the end could not find. The physio, he did his job, embraces Stephen Ferris. What a hero he is today, but he's not alone.
Well, they won the game by getting 19 points clear, but then they had to defend for their lives. Paul O'Connell was heroic in defeat. Munster threw everything, but the better day won. We came into this match talking about the foreigners, the South African contingent. Pienaar's goal kicking was magnificent. Johan Muller was brilliant in the second row. John Afoa, his tackle count got bigger and bigger as the game went on. But in the end, I think if you're looking for a man of the match in this all-Ireland derby in Munster, where nobody but Leicester's won, you go to the spiritual leader, as Ulster call this man, Stephen Ferris. Would he be fit? Wouldn't he be fit? I'm not certain he was 100%, but he was magnificent. Ronan O'Gara, one of the greats in Heineken history, looks on. Stephen Ferris produces a performance of great bravery today, and he is the Heineken Cup man of the match in a memorable Ulster victory.